Hey there, guys. We are back for part 2 of answering the question, what do you do for a living? So why is answering this question so incredibly important? It's because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So you can command a really powerful presence just by the way that you answer this introductory question. So we're going for instant impact here by answering this age-old question. And I know I get asked it very often. I know you probably get asked very often as well. And it's really simple for us to lead with the way that we have been taught and conditioned for all of our lives, right? We talked about that in video 1, that generally the way that we answer that question is what we're most proud of. We're in this profession, we have this certification or this XYZ, right? And really what we want to do is we want to say exactly what our prospect wants to hear. So if you feel like that you've worked really, really hard at this business, but you're not getting the recruiting and enrolling success that you would really like to have, it's probably not in your marketing if you're working hard and you're doing all the things, but it's very likely in your message. So today we are going to be working on how to say exactly what she wants to hear all the time. And what she wants to hear is the solution that you bring. So what is the solution that your prospect desires most? And don't worry, we're going to put all of this together, our step 1 homework with our step 2 homework, and we're going to have a really powerful response to this question. So remember, our first breakthrough secret is when you introduce yourself, it is not about you. And again, this isn't your fault if you're introducing yourself that way. That's the way we're conditioned. We see other people introduce themselves in really braggy ways. And, first, sometimes we feel like we have to start with credibility. Like, this is why you want to listen to me, or this is why you want to be my friend, or, whatever. We're trying to lead with the credibility. When in reality, if we want their attention and we want them to connect their heart, their mind, and even their wallet with the message that we're sharing, then we truly have to make this response all about them. So all she's listening for is what she wants. She wants to know if she needs you. She wants to know if you can take her from where she's at right now to where she wants to go. So everything in this introduction is about her. So I want to say something just really quickly because this was a breakthrough moment for me, you guys. I spent years avoiding talking about direct sales. I don't know why. I had just a few opinions that were gathered from a few people out there that were making all the noise in my brain and telling me that direct sales wasn't something that was okay. The direct sales was something that maybe I should be shameful of, or direct sales was something I should be less proud of than any other accomplishment I had had in my life, right? And so instead, when I had this breakthrough, you know what I was looking at? I was looking at all of the people who I wanted to emulate their success. There's this person and this person and this person and this person, and I want the same amount of success that they had. But you know what I noticed was different about all of them? They were confidently leading with direct sales. They were confidently leading even with network marketing. And that made me realize, gosh, if I want to emulate success, then I probably need to do the same thing. And in fact, something else is true about all of those people is many of those people, as I got to know them, I didn't even know that they had ever had another career ever in their life other than direct sales or network marketing, except for when they were sharing that they were leaving that career because of what network marketing or direct sales had done for them. So that was really powerful for me to have this breakthrough. So I want to share, as I'm learning and growing, I want to make sure that I'm sharing all of those things with you as well. And that was a really big breakthrough for me that was transitional for where I then grew in direct sales myself. So as you already know, we're going to leave the certifications, licensing, professional credentials, all of those things behind. And so we talked about this a little bit before in our step 1 video, but that was more about the profession. Now I want to share just an example. I have worked with a woman for years that is really proud of her certification that she got as a health and nutrition coach from INN, I think it's Institute of Integrated Nutrition. And in fact, I've heard so much about the Institute of Integrated Nutrition from her that I can remember that over her name almost all the time, which isn't that interesting, right? So we have to be really conscious of what we're leaving behind, what trail we're leaving behind. And so this is something that she would have once said is, I'm a licensed and certified health coach with the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and I've written 3 books, and I would love to help you establish a healthy relationship with food through my 13-step process or something like that. Right, you guys? And so for me, instantly, I'm like, that sounds like a lot of work. And I learned what the Institute of Integrated Nutrition was from her. And did she have credibility in the industry? Absolutely. But she was sharing with me results, not a process. So she was telling me she was sharing with me the process, not results. So she was telling me this process that she was going to take me through. And I was getting exhausted, stuck on the Institute of Integrated Nutrition. And as soon as we give the brain an opportunity to think about something else, the brain can no longer think about what we were wanting to leave behind. So it's time to leave. The certifications, the licenses, the programs, the procedures, the modalities, all of that stuff is time to leave behind. So here's another example for you, because sometimes I think it helps to hear it the wrong way so that you can figure out what is the right way. So think about how some of these things make you feel. So I'm thinking of XYZ CBD company is different from the gas station because all of our CBD products are certified so that we can guarantee the amount of CBD in the product and the item matches the amount of CBD promised on the label. And we also find that we do regular field testing to ensure that our products are blah, 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 free of contaminants, blah, 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 right? Nobody cares anymore. It went so long. It wasn't about the person who was hearing the message. That person wanted to know, first of all, they might not even, want to even try CBD. But what if they addressed it with the solution that the CBD brings, right? So maybe they were focused on focus. Maybe they should focus on focus or pain relief or whatever their product brings, right? And for the first example with the health coach, it's taking me from where I am now to where I want to be, which might have included losing weight, yes, but you lost me in the certifications, the licensing, the programs, the procedures, right? So we're going to drop that. Number 2, the other thing we're going to drop is the superficial vague terms. So this is something I hear a lot in our profession, you guys. I help women get unstuck. Well, that's nice, but as soon as you hear that, for me, you know what I do? I start thinking about what I'm stuck on. So then I miss the rest of the message because I'm trying to think if that connects to me. And that's a very normal response from anybody that you're talking to is, how can this be connected to me? Can this person help me? Is this someone I need to know more about? Those are the types of things, right? Or I can lead you to freedom. So then instantly you're going to start thinking about what freedom you need, right? So you have to be really, really clear about what you do. You have to be so clear about what you do and so clear about the solution that you're offering that they can see themselves in exactly what it is you're offering. So again, unstuck is too vague and too generic. Freedom from what? We don't ever want there to be a question. So the moment that your response allows the mind to create a question or to distance itself in a question, you have lost your value. So the more vague you are, because I feel like a lot of times we step into these vague statements because we want to reach more people. But when we try to reach more people by trying to touch everyone, we're actually going to not be the go-to person for anyone. So we're creating the results we don't want by trying to cast a bigger net. So I want you to really think about that, especially when you go back and look at your day 1 responses to the homework and ask yourself, gosh, is this too broad? It might be, because our first instinct is to cast a really big net, because we think if we cast a really big net, we're going to have more success. But what if, in line with this fishing analogy, what if you took the exact bait into the exact place at the right time? You're going to have a bit greater result than just casting a really broad net. So that's what we're really focused on. The other thing that we want to do with dropping these vague and superficial terms is, if they can't see themselves in us, guess what? When you're really clear about who you're looking for and who you help, that person who you're talking to is instantly, if it's not about them, they're instantly thinking of someone who you can help, which is exactly the type of result that you're looking for. All right, so the next thing to avoid here, and this is the last thing, is avoid the buzzwords. I already mentioned freedom, but some other things that are really popular in our profession is radical, because we're going to go through some radical changes, or for those seeking abundance, or I'm going to help you find your purpose. Okay. So those are some buzzwords. And the goal of our introduction always, if we want to have a really powerful impact and we want a commanding presence where we go, to where people say, I need her, and they're pulling themselves to you, then we have to rise above the noise. So if we're going to rise above the noise, we have to avoid any cliche words and any cliche phrases that lack original thought. Your goal here is to rise above the noise and be unique. Unique is how you're going to be remembered. All right, so we talked about what not to do. Now let's go in what to do. And sometimes I've debated about this. Like, I want to lead with what to do, but then sometimes it makes it really hard to identify what we shouldn't be doing, and it makes it more difficult to look at our own message and say, oh gosh, that's not what I should be doing, or that's not delivering the right message, because we don't know what we don't know. And it's sometimes hard to remove what we already know and take it down to the prospect. What does she need? There are a couple questions I do like to ask myself is, what has Color Street brought me? That's usually the results or the solution, right? And so we can kind of reverse engineer it. And let me tell you one more thing. If right where you are right now is of no way a picture of where you're going to go. So if you're brand new, don't let your accomplishments where you're at so far to frame your entire response here. Find another story, follow other stylists, hear what they're about, hear their messaging, and you can start crafting your messaging based off of that, because you know what's possible. They created a path for you to show what's possible. All right, so your power play. Focus on results and benefits. This is it, you guys. The only thing your prospect wants to know is if you can help her get where she wants to go. That's it. So your intro will speak directly to your client when you remove the focus from yourself and are able to solely focus on her. Offer the solution that she wants. It's pretty simple, right? All right, so we need to cut out all the noise. We need to cut out all the extra fluff, and we need to cut out, the hardest part is cutting out all the stuff that's about us, that's about our career, that's about our accomplishments, that's about modalities or procedures or certifications. All of that stuff we're going to set aside and create a really clear and very small message about what she wants. All right, guys. So this is the second step in crafting the introduction that is going to command a really powerful presence, which increases your recruiting efforts always. So that's what this boot camp is about, right? This entire boot camp is about recruiting. So find your homework in the boot camp on the very same post where you found this video. And in our next video, we're going to focus on how to clearly state who you are, which again sounds really simple, but we need to remove the fluff, and we need to make sure that when we're stating who we are, even that little message is about them. So thank you guys so much. We'll look forward to connecting for step number 3.